And we're live once again. I've got my camera all whacked out over here. How's everybody doing this week? I hope good. Now let's start with the hellos. Let's see when I get there. Okay, I've had normal problems as usual. I had to refresh my overlay chat because it locked up. I don't know why. Anyway, so who gets the most delicious cookie? It looks like Tom Grassy did. Tom, good to see you here and enjoy that cookie. And the half cookie goes to Quasimodo. Good to see you, Quasi. Enjoy that half cookie. And Hot Dog Pilot Andy got crumbs. Still good to see you, Andy. Glad you're here. Chuck Schreiber, good to see you. He says the empty box or bag the cookie was in. That's one way to look at it. John Nippenberg of Landmark Yards. Good to see you, John. Glad you're here. Yeah, we got Dundas Junction Model Railroad. James, always good to see you. He says, I am here. Do I need a road trip to the donut store to get my cookie? Yeah, probably. And we got Curly Express. Dwight, good to see you. Good to see you here. Anfield Road layout into Loft. Lee, good to see you. Ray Central, 127. Good to see you, Ray. And Chuck Schreiber. Hey, Chuck, good to see you here. Let's see who else we got here. Schuylkill River Valley. John, happy birthday again. Good to see you here. And we have Derek Alexander. Derek, always good to see you. Yeah, let's see who else we got here. Yeah, GRE 2057. Jesse, good to see you here, Jesse. And who else do we have? That might be everybody. I believe it is. Alright, well, let's see, did we get everybody here? I'm still scrolling here. Duh. Okay, that's everybody. So, I'll tell you what, I'm having one of those days again. At least the weather wasn't too bad today. Wearing shorts and short sleeves. I think it got down to about 54. For us, that's fairly warm, so. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Aside from the normal problems, did make some headway with some things. Matter of fact, if you'll notice behind me, well, you can't really tell. There we go. There's one printer running, and there's the other printer running. Hey, Joe Rader, Black Rock Central. How you doing, Joe? Good to see you here. I'm printing up supports for the bridge for the U.S. Sugar line that I'm laying in. And I've got some pictures of that, which I'm going to show you here. I was kind of in a hurry to get the picture, so I wanted to do video, but I was having issues with the video on my camera. I don't know why. So here we go. It's going to be a slideshow. Everything that's in gray there is what I just printed. The track will lay over that. I'm printing supports for it. See, I've got two of them in place already. I've got one more I've got to put in. I'm also going to be changing the supports for that black bridge because the wooden dowels just weren't getting it. So I'm printing a whole new support structure for it. But it's looking pretty good so far. I've still got to put track down yet. And there's a lot of work to do, you know. I got the road bed from that point all the way around to the next, where the second bridge is going to go. And then there's a third bridge all the way down on the end. I have to print all these bridges. They're all going to be the same. Now I'm going to paint and weather those bridges. They won't stay gray. I'm thinking they'll probably be black with rust stains on them. I'm going to do my best to try and make it look realistic. We'll see how that goes. And what happened to my other thingy here? There we go. Oh, thanks, Chuck. I appreciate that. James says he's going to wait till the fall to maybe get a 3D printer. Yeah, you're going to want one, although weird things going on. Well, probably not in Canada, but I'm sure they'll get to it. In Washington State, in the U.S., they're trying to create a law that will regulate 3D printers because they're scared to death that somebody might print a 3D gun. Now, 3D guns don't work that well. They're not really a threat, I don't see. But Washington State, you know, the libtards, they're hell-bent on limiting your ability to print things that you want. And this hasn't become law yet, but they think it's going to go through. If it does, it won't even allow you to make modifications to your printer, software or hardware, either one. And it will have somewhat of a kill switch that will stop it from functioning if you try and print any type of a firearm part. It's fucking stupid. But, you know, we're talking libtards here, so one shouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's going to happen here in Florida, or probably most of the country. I think New York will follow because, you know, they're full of libtards too. But free states like Florida, I think, will be fine. Hey, Tom's Trains and Things. Hey, Tom, how's it going? Libtards are retarded. I mean, you know, did you hear about any of that? It's all over the internet, especially on YouTube, where they want to restrict the ability to 3D print things. And of course, it will become a problem all the ways around. James says, but Americans have the right to carry. Well, yes, we do in most states. In Washington State, I think it's very difficult to get a carry permit. I don't know. But they have so many stupid rules. It's like New York City, you know. Here in Florida, we can open carry, concealed carry. That's the only place you can't go is a place that serves alcohol, or, you know, the courtroom or the sheriff's department. You know, sensitive areas. Some schools. But, you know, there's always those idiots out there that are trying to take away your right to freedom or free expression. And I really didn't think they'd go after 3D printers, but it looks like now they're going to. Like I said, you can print a handgun or even a rifle in pieces on a 3D printer, but I wouldn't put a bullet in the damn thing. It'll blow apart. You know, you still need metal barrels, probably a metal receiver. You know, the frame itself, yeah, no big deal, but still, I wouldn't print a gun. I was watching a video a couple of years ago. These two guys, they were real big on 3D printing. They 3D printed a Glock 19 and shit, I own a gun. I can't remember what it's called. A 45 auto. And they had the plastic frame and a metal slide because, like I said, you couldn't use a plastic slide. It would be too dangerous. Well, in order to make the metal slide on the plastic frame, which is not the same as polymer, by the way, because Glock has a polymer frame, they had so much filing and stuff to do to get the slide to work properly, and even then, it would misfire 6 out of 10 times. Totally worthless as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, the libtards, oh my God, they got plastic guns, you know. When I think they can get them through security, you know, the bullets are still metal. The casings are metal. Even if you had a fully plastic gun, the bullets would set off the metal detector or X-ray machine, either way. How stupid these people are. I don't know what to say about that, but Yeah, buckle. But yeah, you want to get a 3D printer because you could do so much with it. So I'm printing all kinds of stuff now. Like I said, I'm putting in a third main line. Well, it's really a short line. Kind of like, after my title, right? It's the sugar short line. It's going to run from this side of the layout all the way around to that side. I'm going to set it up on a Motorman to where it goes back and forth too. So we'll have the Amtrak going back and forth on the elevated rail system and the U.S. Sugar line on the ground on the third main, or short line. There you go, James. Ignore the government, just run trains. Works for me. So, in fact, now that I got my thing working here again. There we go. Can we put that up there? Yeah, there we go. At least something's working, right? So other news, local news, like right here news, a fucking chicken car quit working. I don't know if I blow out the DF player or not. Let me bring the camera over here. There it is in pieces again. This is the DF player, and I can't get it to come on. It worked yesterday, and then it quit working today. I got voltage going to it, so it isn't a power issue. I don't know what happened. So I may have to pick up another one and maybe lower the voltage a tad, because I was running exactly 5 volts into it. And they said really you should only put 4.5 in there, but I don't know. Well, some do, Derek. That would be the smart way to do it. But either way, you're still going to have problems because the frame doesn't work that well. I mean, not with PLA anyway. I mean, like you said, the Glock uses a polymer. It's plastic, but it's a different type of plastic. It's very rigid. The, the ones that we use doesn't, so. What's that? Tom says, till almost 2 feet of snow in the yard, can't get to my shed. No problem, Tom. Like I said, I'm not in a hurry. But whenever you want your money, let me know. I'll send you the money. So, because I don't want to hold you up on the money-wise. Let's see here. Andy says it's clocked. My chicken car, yeah, it's clocked all right. So, I don't know what's going on there. I might buy another DF player, or I might do something different. The problem is this is a knockoff DF player. It's not the good one. I got 2 of them for $7, and the second one, it took a shit already too. So I think I might have blew them out by actually putting 5 volts into them. But we'll see. Andy, is this a new word? That's funny. So I'm working on that. So that's down again. Oh, and then remember where did I put that damn thing? Remember this car here? This is the one that had the cow sounds in it. Had the soundtrack sound car. Yeah, it took a shit too. So I'm thinking, what the hell? So I'll have to redo that as well at some point. Hey, Ray Bertelson, how you doing, Ray? Good to see you. Jim, the sound card like I have, the one you told me about, will fit in that box car. It's not that big. I don't know, the one I bought won't fit, man, the first one. It's just way too big. I mean, if I broke it in half, it might work. Did you miss the what? The rant? Oh, the rant. No, I didn't start ranting yet, but I might. So, 2 sound cards down. I'll get it straightened out and squared away. Oh yeah, I also have this. Now, this came in a little while ago. I haven't even had a chance to open it yet. Let me get this camera back up here, man. There we go. So while we're doing it, might as well do a mail call right here on the live, right? I don't think I've ever done a live mail call before. I think I know what this is, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, it is that. It is that then. Even though they had a different tracking number on it than what was shown on his package. And I didn't order it from Amazon. I actually ordered it from eBay, but it came from Amazon. And I got a gift receipt. Scan the QR code to learn more about your gift or start a return. I got a gift. Huh? All right, cool. Look at that shit. We'll check that out later on. Anyway, I bought these things. Now, if you don't know what they are, I just learned about them. And of course, they got tape. I know they taped the shit out of everything. Try this again. See if I can do this without dumping them all over the floor. Or not. What the hell? I don't want to open up. There we go. These things are pretty slick. I don't really know what, well, I think they're for tables. James, you probably know what they are because you probably used them in your travels. They're locating pins or centering pins. And they go together like that. And one's the receiver. And the other one's the mail part. Now what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to build a new drop down over here because this one's screwing up anyway. And Scott Rails, if you've ever watched his channel, he no, this is not 3D printed. These are made out of brass. And what you do is you put them in the, I could use a smaller piece of wood, drill the holes for those, glue them in. They said the female on the top, the male's on the bottom, or vice versa. And that will always center the board so the tracks line up properly. I also got different, I got to get different hinges for the back side. He's using cabinet hinges. And they work beautifully. So I'm going to duplicate what I saw him do on his layout on his drop down. So we'll see how that works for me. And those were cheap. That was $14. There's 10 sets of them. With 10 male, 10 female, which is more than I need. And I can also apply power to that as well. So I can power the drop down without any wiring. So, well, there's no exposed wiring anyway. And it will actually cut off the power when you lift it up, something that I don't do now, which I need to. I notice that we're not seeing the trains. There we go. We can see the trains a little bit now. This thing's always in the way too. There we go. So, okay, James, see, James, I figured you knew what they were. He says I used them on the last layout. So like I said, I learn something new all the time, and I figure if I see something I think really is going to work, I'm going to try it. Oh, you're talking about the stock car. No, Ray, that's not printed. That was, I purchased that. I got this actually at a train show a couple of years back. I got the chassis not on it right now, but I think I only paid like $3 for this, which wasn't bad. Of course, I put, I had to put metal wheels on it, took the plastic ones off, and, put the Katy couplers on there. But that's what I plan on doing when I go to the villages this Saturday. I'm going up with Tom and his wife Debbie. Me and my Debbie are going. You got two Debbies and Tom and a Jim. So we're going to be going up there this weekend, and it's going to be great. And that's what I'll be looking for. Cheap rolling stock, and I plan on buying quite a few pieces of, if I can. Plus, I'll be looking for some other things too. I got a few ideas in my head that, if the prices are right, I'll buy. I want to get an SW1500 switcher. Athearn would be probably the best way to go, a blue box. If they have one there for a reasonable price, I'll buy it. So we'll see what happens when I get up there, when we get up there. James says, I use power dowels from DCC Concepts on this layout. Same idea, but bigger. Okay. Yeah, because I plan on powering those, and like I said, Scott shows how to do it. Because one of the problems he had is they weren't making good contact. So he made little springs out of wire, bare wire, and dropped them down to the female ends. And that created enough of a contact so that it got power to the track. So I'll probably be doing the same thing. Hey JD, good to see you here. Thank you for the count. 2213, somebody's not hitting that thumbs up button. Come on guys. No slacking today. So, hey, like I said, I got a ton of shit that I got to do. I have been working on the number 148 steam engine, and if I can get down low enough for it. A little bit lower. There we go. Now what I did was I painted the front silver. That came out real nice. I was kind of surprised. It looks good actually. And I ordered numbers for the cab because I really couldn't print them properly because they're white. So I went ahead and I ordered a number set from eBay. I think they'll be here next week. And I'll put the 148 on the side of the cab, and also probably 148 on the very top of the, let me back up here. I got to get this overhead camera wired up and ready to go to. I got it laid in. I don't have the wire for it yet to connect it. There we go. So I've got to put the 148 on the top of both sides of the tender. And I think it has it on the back too. I'll have to look at the pictures again. And the actual decal, a re-raised cane with the, looks like the Amazon line in it. I'm going to have to print that out and hope it comes out properly. Helicoil. I haven't seen a helicoil since I had my shop. Oh, a helix oil for a loose female. Yeah, basically that's what it is. It's like a helicoil. I said I used to use those when I had my repair shop. I still have a few, I think, laying around. Let's see, did anybody sneak in here that I didn't notice? Cake of the day was pecan and maple cake. Okay. I didn't get any of that. Alright. Ray says, James, the ones from DCC Concepts with the springs in them fit into a 13 or 14 millimeter hole. Yeah. I think I've seen them before too. I just never paid much attention to them. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I said I'm printing things up now. The printers have been running pretty much all day and all night. It's slow going. I experimented on the... See, I use this one as an experiment thing. So I started painting these. I tried it because I used the airbrush on it. And I had 3 airbrushes. Actually 4. And I only got one of them to work properly. well, they're cheap ones, and that's what I get, I guess, for getting cheap shit. But this one came out nice too, considering that this is a throwaway body. But you see the numbers on the side there, how they're I don't know what font that is, but it's not Arial. So I wanted to get the same font, so I found some on eBay and for the right size and all. Actually got a big sheet for $5, which wasn't bad. And they're, you know, decals, what do they call them, slide-offs or slide-ons or what? Wet slide, I don't know what the hell they're called. Changing track for the train station, okay. Eric says, Big Jim, the joke was, oh, a Healy coil for a loose female end. Ah, I don't think it would do much good on a female end. James says, no comment. I saw it, I just didn't catch it right away, but you know, I guess my mind isn't in pervert mode tonight. So anyway, but I run around like a nutcase all day today. Got out here, had to get a few things straightened out, get set up for tonight's show. And remember, I have to take the trash out because tomorrow's trash pickup day. 2 cans, got them out. Emptied the trash in here. Tons of stuff. Trying to clean up a little bit. My desk is a mess again. But I've been busy with so many different things that I really haven't had time, you know, to mess with it. Willow Creek, Brad, how you doing, Brad? Good to see you here. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, though. Like I said, I've been going crazy. Now I'm helping Crooked Dave, you know, Crooked River and Eastern. I sent him a file for a dumpster, and I swore it was the same one I sent him before. I'm not sure, because I don't really keep track of that shit. That was over a year ago. Well, I sent him the file. He printed out. He says it's too small. Oh shit. Well, give me the measurements on the one you got. I'll blow this one up to match. So I was able to do that before the show started. I sent it off to him. I imagine he's probably printing it as we speak. Well, that one should be good. We're still having issues with the trucks. I don't know if he's giving me the wrong sizes or what, but he gave me some numbers. I made it that size, and he said it's too small. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but I haven't printed any for myself. Maybe I should. Maybe tomorrow I'll print a couple up. See what's going on. But see, most of my cars aren't HO scale. They're 1/64th instead of 1/87 because they're Hot Wheels and Matchbox and that sort of thing. Now my big trucks, semis, box trucks and the like, they're 1/87. And they seem to blend in fine with it. But I don't really, like I said, I don't really have any HO scale smaller stuff. So it's hard to gauge the proper size. I imagine I'll get it right eventually. Hopefully. Let's see. Put that on. 17-14. Well, we're getting better. Come on, guys. Somebody's not hitting that damn thumbs up button. Do it. Hit it. Kick it. Slam it. Knife it. Hammer it. Shoot it. Don't matter. Just hit that button. So anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of cool stuff for me to get up at the villages. Because I mean, for one of those rare occasions, I actually have some money to spend. And I'm debating whether I want to take the full 300 up with me, or just take 200 and limit my spending to, you know, 200 or less. I'm probably going to do that because, you know, just in case something pops up, because it's always something around here anyway. It's like, you know, I got my propane gas tank filled up for the stove. It was 99, well, it would have been $99 if I waited till it was due. And if you pay early, they give you a discount. So I got it for $87. Up here a few bucks, that's great, right? So I pay it. Next day they hand me another bill for the maintenance fee, which I completely forgot about every year. And that's 64 bucks because, you know, well, just because they can. They charge me that fee every year. They don't actually do anything for it, but they charge me for it. I think it's more like a rental on the tank because they own the tank, I don't. So I'm thinking, son of a bitch, you know, I was not expecting that. Well, it's not technically due to March 3rd, so they'll get paid on March 3rd. You know, because I don't want to spend money if I don't have to. I get paid on the 3rd of every month. So that's how that works. 3 holdouts. Yeah, 3 holdouts. Now, they'll hit it eventually, maybe. Or maybe not. Who knows? So, what else I got going? Oh, yeah, so these... I gotta get... I bought... This was the last airbrush I bought. It's a pistol grip. I think it was like 40 bucks. They're not that expensive. It's a no-name brand. I've never heard of it anyway. Not even a name on it. And it lasted me a good long time. I had this for about 4 years. But you know these things are always a pain in the ass to clean. So it's done anyway. I can't do anything with it. It's probably an internal issue, and even though I've taken it apart, nothing I can see wrong with it, but there's definitely something wrong with it, so it's going to wind up in the trash. But I've got this one here, and this one, this is made by Master. Fairly decent one, not great, but it sort of works. They said I tore it apart, and I think I only used it once, you know. Then I got the one over there. I can't remember the name of it. It's a little better one, and that one actually works fairly well. And then this third one here, what the hell they do with it? Oh, there it is. This was my favorite one. This is also made by Master Airbrush. This one has the bottles you can plug in on the bottom, which is really cool because I bought extra bottles and stuff. Well, this one doesn't work anymore either, and I don't know why. So, I really should just go out and buy a good one, like maybe an Iwata or something along those lines. You know, they're good ones. They're $100, you know. I just hate coming off that kind of money. You can never take too much money. That's true, Chuck, but, you know, I still have a budget, though, that I got to pay attention to. Hey, John Nippenberg, you're back, huh? Cool. Good to see you here. Yeah, I mean, I may regret not taking the whole 300, but I figured, you know, I better not. I got to be a little bit, you know, responsible. And 200 is still quite a bit of money to blow at a trade show, so we'll see. Of course, it's going to suck. Well, of course, I'll have my credit card with me, so if there is something I really absolutely have to have, hopefully they'll take a credit card and I can pay with that. So, I'm not too worried about it. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, I'm really pissed off with this chicken car. I get it working. Everything's fine. I got the keep alive on it all. I put it together. I put it on the track, and nothing happens. So I take it back out here, apply external power to it. I got a 12-volt power supply, which, you know, goes through a, the hell you call it, a voltage reducer to knock it down to 5. It don't work anymore. So I start checking voltages going in. That's good. Voltage coming out of the I can't remember what the hell it's called now. The reducer. I'm getting exactly 5 volts out of it. That's good. I'm getting voltage to the DF player, but nothing's happening. I don't know what the hell happened. Tom says, Jim, I have a master airbrush. It has the reservoir on the top with lid. Always take it apart to clean it, and has been working for me for 3 years. Well, I take it apart and clean them too. You know, I usually run alcohol through them. I used to have some airbrush cleaner, but I ran out of it. And the alcohol actually does a better job. But for whatever reason, it just quit working. John says it clucked up. Yeah, it's clucked up. All right. The chicken car? Yeah, it done clucked its last cluck. Really pissed off about it too, you know. That shit happens. What are you going to do, right? So, what else here? James says I used a Grex airbrush. I only have 3 of them. Never heard of Grex. That must be a Canadian brand. I said, you know, I got my compressor. I even bought a reservoir tank for it. There's like a 1-gallon tank underneath of it. And the compressor works fine. And with the reservoir tank, I get consistent airflow, you know. Like I said, I don't know what the hell happened, why the airbrushes quit working. Like I said, I just assumed they were cheap, and you really do get what you pay for. Now, they make an airbrush cleaning tank. I'm not quite sure how it works, but I'm thinking I might invest in one. I think they're around 20 bucks or less. And it might be the way to go. So I'll have to look into that. Oh yeah, it's clogged somewhere, but not any place I can get to. I've got a cleaning kit too that I bought. You know, with all the wire brushes and the pins and everything else. I mean, there isn't really any place I can't get to on it. But for whatever reason, they said it just quit working. I get airflow out of it, but no paint. I saw a real neat one on Amazon. It was 120 bucks. It has a compressor built into it. That's the only thing I really did like. It's a rechargeable, which, I don't know. I mean, it looked like a really cool thing. The nice thing about it was a non-cleaning airbrush. And it used disposable tips that you put on the bottle. You pop it in, it's like a pistol grip sort of thing. And you just pull the button and it sprays. Of course, you have adjustments for spray pattern and stuff, but really nice. I looked at it, I thought, you know, maybe down the road. And of course, and they give you a good selection of tips for it too. You got fine, medium, and coarse tips. So you can do a pattern like a pencil pattern, or as wide as I think like 3 inches, something like that. It's pretty slick. Like I said, it won't clog because the air part is separate from the paint, and your paint bottle slides into a deal, and your air tube is at an angle just underneath the spray tip, and you know, use a suction or vacuum to pull the paint out. It looks like a neat idea, but I don't know. You should have a small sink. Well, I have my sink too. It's oh, there it is, right there. I put that sink in. I'll move it to the outside wall when I put the other building up, because everything's going to be back in the other room. All my paint, you know, the paint booth's right there, and the compressor's actually under the cabinet right now. And I'll get all that stuff, you know. And there might be a gall on the corner that will clean out your brush. Or small. Well, somebody's in pervert mode tonight, aren't they? I don't think the wife would appreciate that, though. Tom says they have that same airbrush at Hobby Lobby with the US. Yeah, this one's a USB charger too. It probably is the same one. I don't know what the price difference is on them, but I say it was 120 bucks, I believe. Maybe it was 110. It was over 100, I remember that. And I looked at it and said, that's really slick, because you don't have to fuck around with cleaning it. And you know, if you ever use an airbrush, and I know some of you guys have, that's the worst part of it. They're great when they're working. And then you got to clean the damn thing, and you're really going to be thorough, because if you don't, well, they turn to shit. And then you got this worthless paperweight on your hands that you can't do anything with anymore. So, you know. Yeah, he said it's always something, you know, but and yeah, and a lot of Tuesdays, I'm in a big hurry all the time. I don't have the patience to sit there and actually thoroughly clean something. Probably, I think I do, but in reality, I probably don't, and that can be part of the problem. All right, I used to be a painting contractor, you know, painting houses, and we always had to make sure our equipment was spotless because, you know, that was your living. Brushes, rollers, spray guns, you know, you could eat off it. And I did take my time to make sure everything was spotless. Right, that's a pipe cleaner. There you go. So, I don't know if maybe I'm just getting sloppy in my old age or what. It's possible. But I used the one over there that I painted the silver with here. I said, did a nice job. And I thoroughly cleaned it. And in fact, it's pristine. I mean, absolutely clear water coming. There's no paint residue anywhere on the gun, inside or out. So, what do you call a prostitute with braces? A Black and Decker pecker wrecker. Good one, Derek. That would do it too. Ray says I have 2 airbrushes and I'm never taking them out of the box. Well, why not, Ray? Ain't no good sitting in the box. Like I said, they do come in handy, especially for, you know, really tiny work. Now, I masked that off because of the way I had to do it, and it really did. It came out nice. You see it in person, it looks better probably than, you know, on the screen, but and I've done a lot of, you know, airbrushing before anyway, so it's not like I'm a newbie at it. A Black and Decker pecker wrecker. That's fucking funny. A little strange, but still funny. So that really threw me off there, man. What else have I got going on here? Like I said, there's so much shit going on. And I'm trying to get everything I could possibly get that's not crazy expensive, so I can get some serious work done on my layout. Like I said, this tip-up has been it's been pissing me off a lot lately. I got to lower it, make sure. Sometimes I got to pull it back because it, you know, it swells and does the opposite on occasion. All right, John, thanks for popping in, man. Have a great night too. We'll see you next week. Intent? I'm not familiar with that one. It's probably either the same thing or a variation of it. Still pretty slick though, like I said, the whole idea of not having to clean them. Ray says, I was just so used to painting by hand, never used them. Well, the nice thing about spraying with them is you get an even coat. I mean, if you're really, really good and careful, you can get an even coat with a brush, but it's a lot tougher. So, that's why I started using them, because they come in handy. what the hell was I going to say? Oh yeah, so, and of course it got side-to-side motion. So after I drop it down, somebody got to pull it back to get it to drop in place correctly. And I've got those puzzle piece connectors, the things from England. They work, but they're not all that great either. And I still have to sometimes nudge it a little bit one way or the other to make sure the track lines up perfectly. And if it don't, then I'm going to have a derailment. So I'm just, like I said, I want to redo the whole thing. The way Scott Rails does it is, it actually came out perfect because he angled his track, cut the rails at an angle where it drops down, and then cut them back on the other end where when he tips it up, it pulls away from, well, thanks to the hinges, it pulls away from the other track. When it's in a down position, it's an almost perfect, you almost can't tell if there's a gap between them. That's what I'm looking for. So, because, this has always been a pain in my ass, this drop down. And this is like my fifth attempt at it. And for some reason, I just can't get it right. So, I got to redo it. I'll buy new wood. And he built the ledge, too, on the front, on the open side. So that it can't go down lower than it needs to. And that's what I need to do, too, because for some reason, I don't know if it's because of, I should get a hardwood too, like maybe oak or something like that. It won't expand or contract as much during, the heat cycles. Where pine, well, pine is pine and it does what it does. So I'll probably get a piece of hardboard for the actual arm itself, and then also the hardwood for where it lands on the open part. And that should solve any problems with expansion and contraction, I believe. Now, James, you're a woodworker. You know more about this than I do. Would hardwood actually have less of a problem with expansion than pine wood, or am I just blowing smoke up my own ass? John Nippenberg says, I like rattle cans. Yeah, well, I use rattle cans too on the bigger jobs. And Tom says, I like my portable airbrush. It works great too. Well, that's a rechargeable one, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking, maybe that might not be a bad idea. I guess they run about, 45 minutes on a charge? If you can't get work done in 45 minutes, then you're not doing something right. And green, yeah, I've got the green frog tape too. I haven't used it yet. I got a brand new roll in the drawer that I bought. Because usually I use the painter's blue tape, this stuff here. And this works okay. But I understand the green actually adheres better. So, it has a sharper edge on it. So I might break out that green one at some point and use it, because I'm going to be repainting some of my locomotives and some of my rolling stock. Because I've got the new paint scheme, which I talked about a few weeks ago. I still got to buy the paint yet, but I was thinking I'd use the green tape for that because I want really sharp transition lines between colors. So we'll see how that works. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'll tell you, this 3D shit, and I probably shouldn't bitch too much. This was the first bridge that I built. The problem, this was like N scale. It said HO scale on the file, but when I printed it, this is what I got. So that's garbage. So the second one I got was also HO scale. The other thing I did is I lengthened it because they were shorter pieces, and I figured longer pieces are better for me. And there's no noticeable difference in the way they're built. And that's another problem finding out with a lot of 3D prints. Sometimes they'll tell you what the scale is, or it's HO or N or O or whatever, and you print it and it isn't. What I need to probably start doing is come up with some dimensions for specific things like cars and trucks, bridges, anything that, you know, needs to be to scale, I should have a size, or even houses or buildings, you know, to give me a rough idea of whether they're actually HO scale or not. Because apparently some of these yahoos that are creating the files don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know, you can't call that an HO scale girder bridge, because it's not, you know. So, like I said, I'm wasting, you know, wasting material printing shit like that. And that was one of the things where, you know, I set it, closed up for the night, went home. Next morning I come back and there's two of them, because I printed, you know, both of, two of them, one for each printer. Oh shit, that ain't gonna work. It was my fault for not sticking it out to make sure they were the right size, but like I said, I just assumed, well, it says HO scale on there. But it really wasn't. If you accidentally print in the O gauge, shoot me in the... Well, I'm not likely to make that mistake, but, you know, if you want anything, let me know. Because I can print some things in O scale. You know. I probably have a tough time with rolling stock, because I don't know if it'll fit on the build plate or not. But, because I have a 9.78 inch, I believe, build plate squared. So if it's over 9.5 inches, I probably can't print it. I think the height is the same too. About 9.5, 10 inches tall. I mean, I made your water tower. Of course, that was multiple pieces. But I did that in O scale, and that came out real nice. And I also made one for myself in HO scale, one for Crooked Dave in HO scale, and I think I gave one to, oh damn it, can't remember her name either. The lady in South Carolina with her son Ray. I can't remember her name. I hate when that happens. I donated one to him too, so. You know, I got a few of them running around somewhere. Of course, this was an HO scale as well. So, Tammy, that was it. I couldn't think of that. Damn, losing my fucking mind. You know, it's weird. I was watching Tom Kovichak's show on Monday. Or was it Wednesday? Like, I don't remember now, but when the guy came in, I haven't seen him forever. I knew who it was, but I couldn't remember his YouTube channel name. Well, it was Container Man 68, but he has a different, I think he uses his name, or his last name anyway, plus 68 for his Rumble channel name. And I finally said, you know, I said, I know who you are, but I can't remember your YouTube name, you know. And he says, you know, it's Container Man 68. I said, all right, Roy. I remembered his name after I put two and two together, but like I said, I'm getting really bad with that shit. That, you know, it's there, it's up here somewhere. You know, latching onto it's a tougher situation. And I don't know if that's just old age or early Alzheimer's or what. I hope it's not early Alzheimer's. That would suck. You know. I mean, most of the people I know are kind of going through the same thing where they can't remember something, you know, quickly. Eventually it comes to them, and I said I do remember it at some point. Might take a minute, a week, and a day, or a year. It will come to me at some point. That's just the way it goes, I guess. So that's another thing too. These channel names, you know, I gotta say it again. I know he's not on here, or he's not in the chat. Spike Man. Well, he changed his name back to Spike Man. Then he put Spike Man 94, and he had a short video, and it was Colorado Spike Man 94. I'm thinking it sounds like Thomas More, but is it? I actually had to watch it. And, yeah, it was him. And it's like, dude, stop changing your fucking name. It's really aggravating, and it's also confusing at the same time. You know, I can see if your name sucks or whatever, you know, your channel name sucks, and you want to change it once, and you put some thought into it, and you do it, and eventually we'll figure out who you are, and you'll let us know. And he's changed his name like what, 25, 30 times in the last 2 years? You know, you gotta quit doing that shit, man. And I was the only one that actually commented on his short. And I put on there, I said, dude, you know, if you want better recognition, stop changing your name. We know you as Spike Man, just leave it at that. You know, more people will know who you are. They'll watch your videos. I don't know if he did it or not, but he should have. Not rocket science, it really isn't. And that, my friends, is my rant for the night. If you want to call it that. So, let's see, what else am I doing here? Aside from the massive mess I've got. What the hell, I was looking for something the other day and I found them. And I think I lost, well, I had a whole bunch of shrink tubing, the smaller stuff. Like maybe for like 24 gauge wire. I couldn't find that shit to save my life. Well, I was looking for things, and it's amazing what you find when you're not looking for it. Look, I knew I had another decoder. This is an ESU, and there's nothing wrong with it. I knew I had it, but I just didn't know where the hell I did with it. Well, I did find it along with my heat shrink tubing. So I gotta get organized here. There we go. Derek says I call him Spike Man no matter what he signs. Well, I'm kind of the same way too, but you know, like I said, when you change your name, like I think you're allowed to do it every 14 days. I know there's rules. I think you have to wait 14 days before you can change your handle again. He literally does it every 14 days. I don't know if he gets off on that or what, but he needs to quit. Hey, Darren Hamill, how you doing? Good to see you in here. Almost snuck in there. I didn't notice you. Good to see you here. And like I said, you know, I've had the same channel name, I think, since the beginning. You know. I just use my name because it's easier. Y'all know me by my name. And even if I did use Millennium County Railroad, which I think I did in the very beginning, even though it still fell under my name. I just, you know, there's no reason to change it or throw everybody off, so I don't do it. Common sense, the way I see it. No. Look, there was something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what the hell it was now. Losing my mind. No, not, well, maybe. I don't know. Hard telling. Oh, the camera situation is getting worse. I was amazed that 3 cameras actually work today. Because usually the third one doesn't work. I have to screw around with it, you know. Plug and unplug the USB port, and it finally catches, and I'm good for a while. I was really surprised that, you know, I turned it on and all 3 cameras were working. Maybe it's the threat that I'm going to do something different that's, you know, keeping them in mind. Still can't get the 4th one going. Ray says, I quit watching channels when they play games with the name. That makes sense. I said I would probably do the same thing to some degree, you know. Like I said, you know, the people that I do watch, I try and be consistent with them, you know, to some degree. And if they change their names, and, you know, like, well, now what? So, it just doesn't make sense to keep doing that. I mean, I don't I don't know what his reasoning is for that. I really don't. Unless he thinks one's going to be magic and get him 1 million subs or something, but that ain't going to happen. So let's see what I'll do. Oh yeah, so the third the third 462 that I bought. This is it. It's actually, well, this has the old chassis under it because I took the chassis that this came with and I'm using it on the number 148 sugar. But this one still works well enough to where it'll pull itself in a tender. Although I don't have a tender for it. So maybe later on I'll pick up a tender somewhere that'll match with it. And in the meantime, this will make a good static model. But it does run and it does work. And I haven't done anything to the body. It's still the way it came. So, I don't know, like I said, I got a good deal on all these though. I mean, altogether I got all three of them for $50, $55. If you put all the money together. So I get, the last ones I got, well this one I got for $22.50. The other one I got for 31 something. So it wasn't too bad. Hey Floyd, how's it going? Good to see you here. Yeah, let me put this up here. Spike Man would be better to just change your YouTube handle that you can change any time, and that only shows when you comment and your channel name stays the same. Oh, yeah, that'd make too much sense, so it'd still be too easy. But still, it'd be better for him to just keep it the same anyway, you know. And he does, you know, he had one today, he had a short on with a stainless steel spike. Which I don't think they actually use such a thing. But it was still pretty cool, but it was under Spike Man 94, if I'm correct. And why not just stick with Spike Man? We know who the hell Spike Man is. You know. It's either Colorado. When he put Colorado Spike Man 94, I'm thinking, okay, it's another guy because I know Thomas More lives in Kentucky. Now, where the hell he got Colorado from is anybody's guess. Hey, Wigwag Workshop, Steven, how's it going, man? Good to see you. So I don't know. It's just whatever reason. Let's see. Whatever reason he does it, I'm sure he has a reason, but it probably wouldn't make sense to the rest of us. Trackside Mike, hey Mike, how's it going? Good to see you here, man. Yeah, everybody's sneaking in here, huh? Potato tuna can. Well, he says I'll figure out what the whole tuna thing is about between you and Dwight. Yeah, I heard they just recalled the shitload of tuna. Apparently there's metal fragments in it or something. Keep it on the track. So, yeah, I got, like I said, I got a ton of stuff in front of me here, which I hope to get to in the coming weeks. Of course, it's going to be cold again tomorrow. No, Saturday. Or is it Friday night? Yeah, Friday morning it's supposed to get down like in the low 40s. And then like 37 Saturday morning. And I don't really want to dress too warm because it's going to actually, supposed to get up to 70 during the day. Well, here anyway. It might not be quite that warm up in the Villages. I don't know. The Villages I think is about, That was an hour and 3/4, 2 hours away, somewhere around there. Cold and tired of winter already, aren't we all? Of course, we do this shit every year, you know that. In the summer, we're crying about the heat. In the winter, we're crying about the cold. No matter what the hell you do, it's just never going to be happy, you know. John says, cold here Saturday, highs in the low 20s. Yeah, that's cold. Well, shit, where my stepdaughter is up in Michigan. Supposed to be -9 tonight. I'm thinking, well, you can keep that shit. Yeah, Mike says -26. Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad. I got away from that shit, man. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't care. But now, not so much. Tom says villages are 2.5 hours away. Okay. I know it's somewhere near that, because that's right above Orlando, I think. Like, what, a half an hour or so above Orlando? I don't know. I know where it's at on the damn map, but... Yeah. Mike says it's -15 here now. Well, you can have that weather, Mike. Dress warm, man. I don't think I can get warm enough to even consider that. So yeah, I put the overhead camera up. It's right here. But you can't really see it, can you? Oh, there, let me tip up here. It's right up there. I gotta find my USB cable for it. And then hook it to the computer. It's close enough. I have a pretty long cable anyway. Then I can start doing some overhead shots without any issues. So, as I said, it's all coming together slowly but surely. We were 17 a week or so ago this weekend in the 80s. I know, the weather's so weird. It's the same here, though. You know, like I said, well, it hadn't been up in the 80s lately, but mid-70s. And then at night it drops down to, you know, the 30s or 20s. Like, well, what the hell? I don't know what's going on with the weather. I mean, I'm not concerned, not crazy, but, you know. It is what it is. It's what they call it, you know, climate change, right? And it's not like it's never been that cold here before. I mean, I don't know about Sebring, but when I lived in Naples, they said we saw snow flurries twice in like a 5-year period. And it was, you know, down in the low 20s. And that's pretty far south, you know, down southwest Florida. So, none of this is really that unusual when you get down to it. You know, people have short memories. Oh my God, it's never snowed in Florida. Sure it has. In 1967, it was about a half a foot or so of snow on the ground in Tampa. Ask me how I know. Yeah. And they just recently had snow, I think, in, was it Northport, I think? It was Northport. Flurries. I don't think any of it stuck, or maybe some of it did, briefly. I was like, oh my God, it's never snowed in Florida before. It snows in Florida all the time. Usually not that far south. I mean, I've seen 2 foot of snow on the ground up near Jacksonville. This was probably about 15, 18 years ago. I remember getting out of the car and it was up past my ankles. You know, in snow. Cold as shit. And global warming my ass. Now, once again, you know, when they were pulling that global warming shit the last time, they had to call off the conference twice because it was snowed in. You can't make this shit up, man. That's why they went to climate change, because, you know, climate change doesn't limit them to any one thing. But they've still been harping on the global warming thing, you know. The ice caps are going to melt, everything's going to get flooded, and we'll lose our coastline. None of that shit's happening, by the way. You know. and they just still won't give it up. You know, California wants to do they want to charge people by the mile when they drive and penalize them if they go over what they think they should be driving. So you'll get a fine. I don't know what they'd give any number. Let's say they give you 1,000 miles a month, and you drive 2,000. You're gonna have to pay for that extra 1,000 miles. You know, that's fucking bullshit. Is what it is. Sounds to me like it's more of a money grab than anything else. Of course, that's a blue state. You know what? You wouldn't expect anything less from them fucking communists anyway. But it is. It's just getting to the point where it's beyond absurd, you know. And even if that were true, can't do anything about it, you know. If we've been leading up to this for the last 150 years, you think it's going to stop overnight if we, you know, stop driving our cars, stop fucking cooking our food, and stop farting and all the other shit? It'll take 150 years for it to correct itself. Well, ain't none of us even going to be around then. So who the fuck cares? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just the whole thing is ignorant. Like I remember, you know, they talk about, you know, smokers, which I used to be a smoker. I smoked for what, 40 years, something like that, 35, I don't remember. From 15 to like 57, I think I quit smoking. Because I couldn't afford it all. Hey, Stormy Dave, how's it going? Stormy Sky Rail Production. How's it going, Dave? Good to see you here. They say it would take an inverse amount of time to clear your lungs. If you've been smoking for 30 years, it'll take 30 years for your lungs to clean itself. I won't even live long enough to see it. I don't even know if that's true anyway. It sounds a little bullshit to me. You know, be realistic about it. These so-called know-it-alls need to just shut the fuck up and let the rest of us live and not worry about it. My opinion, anyway. So, I gotta see what I'm gonna do with this chicken car. I like the DF Player Mini, but if it's really that sensitive to, you know, exactly 5 volts, and possibly it might have even went over 5, I mean not by much, maybe 5.1, 5.2 volts. If that knocked it out, that could be a problem. Now I could resistor it from the voltage reducer board. That could knock it down to 4, because it works between, I think, 2.5 to 5 volts. If you keep it on a low end, it might actually last longer. Then I should probably buy an actual, you know, a real one and not a knockoff. And what's that there, Tom? Jim, today in L.A., an elderly woman drove her car into a bakery, killed two, many hurt. I think she died, but I did not see any skid marks on the sideway. She just hit the gas and let it go. Yeah, probably. Was she a raghead, or was she, you know, an American? Because, you know, or even maybe, you know, she might have even been black. I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on right now. It's a little crazy. And Derek says, one volcanic eruption puts more pollution and carbon dioxide in the air than everything we have done since our... That's true. But you don't hear them bitching about that, do you? Not like they could do anything about it anyway. Well, and that's another thing too, you know. They all got waterfront properties. So if they're really going to lose the coastline, aren't they worried about losing their houses? Apparently not, because they know it's a lie. And also, they're jetting all over the damn world in their Lear jets, and you know, they're causing more pollution than any of us are, but they're exempted from it for some reason. So, you know, all I got to say is, you know, big right here. It's a shame we can't do anything about it because, you know, it'd be nice to lock them all up for about 100 years and go, now who's behind bars? Was that the bakery selling fuck ice cookies? Well, she wouldn't think she'd have ran into it if they were doing that. Now, if it was pro ice, then yeah, I could see them running into it. And that's stupid too, you know? What the hell? There's something wrong with people today. Yeah, they're just really, I mean, every time I turn on the internet and I look at the news of the day and it's like, somebody got killed for some stupid reason. You know. Kidnappings, killings, vandalism all over the place. What the fuck is wrong with these people? You know. It was a white woman and a black man. They were married. I imagine the kids were half-breeds, but nevertheless. They locked the kids in the bathroom, or locked them up somewhere. Wouldn't let them use the bathroom, ever. And beat and kicked and tortured them for like a long time before they got caught. What the fuck is wrong with people that do this shit? And why are they still breathing? That's what I want to know. You know, if I were to see something like that in action, I'd go back, get my 45 and come back and take care of business. And figure I'd be more than justified to do it. I just don't understand what the fuck is wrong with these people. I really don't. You know. A woman divorced her husband. He's pissed off about it. He's a minority. He's not black. I think he's Hispanic of some degree. So he hunts her down in a hotel with her new lover and kills them both. Dude, you could have just got another woman and at least you'd be out and free. Now you're looking at prison for the rest of your life. Or at the very least a death penalty, which you purely deserve. What the hell is wrong with these people? I don't get it. It's like the majority of the population just went batshit crazy overnight. I don't know. Now let's see what else we got going on here. What else have I done? I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see the. Oh, yeah, I can't get my finger to go right there. There we go. You can see right there at the end of my finger. That's one of the bridge supports that I'm making. Still got quite a bit of printing yet to go, probably another hour. And the one on the left, you probably can't see because the damn chair's in the way. There we go. That's the bridge support for the Shortline. So that's the last one I need to make of that, and that'll go in the middle. Well, for that particular lake area. I'll probably have to make 3 more for the next overpass or underpass. Then I'll need more for the lake that's down on the end. So there's quite a bit of stuff there. I came in to see the end of your stinger. That's kind of scary, Jim. Hey Bernard, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Anyway, that's what I'm printing. So I did a bolt them. I don't have one handy. But they're actual oval shaped, almost like a biscuit, but tall. And those are for the Sugar Shortline bridges. And then the one behind me, like I said, that one, that one right there. That one's for the bigger bridges. I've got to make 2 per bridge, so there's going to be a total of 4 of them. for those two bridges on that side there. Because what I've got basically now are these things here. I already throw it out. I think I did. Oh, here's one of the, this was the first one that I made. It was too short. This is the bridge column. But the other ones were just wooden dowels underneath the double track bridge. And they look stupid. I said, I gotta do better than that. I gotta get 7 more dogs for this sled. And Mike says, hey, this lake almost frozen here. I can walk across the border. There you go. You know, like I said, I just got to get 7 more dogs for the sled. Well, they take 8, don't they? Hey, you're 7 short? Yeah, you got to get more. Ray says he's in his truck. Can't get the screen up on my TV in the truck, so I voiced the text. Okay, that works. And my little monitor where I've got my chat on, what I use for the overlay, it's showing weird colors on there. I think it's on its way out. I do have a backup one in the house. I think it's a little bigger than this one, but I may have to drag it out here. Probably the smart thing to do would be to get a second bigger one that, well, I'm not sure where I'd put it. I could maybe even attach it to the wall maybe and have it on a multiple angle wall bracket. Or even maybe work out something where the bracket comes off the bench and elevates it. I don't know, I'll have to figure something out. Big snowstorm tomorrow should help the dog run. I'm telling you what, I feel bad for you guys up north and out west, man. They said, you know, the cold winters are for young people. You get a certain age, man, I don't think you deal with it all that well anymore. I said, hi there, Chuck and Tom. Thanks for you guys down there in Florida for sending me your weather. I could be in my shorts at 60 degrees. Well, yeah, we're here at 60 degrees is a heat wave. I don't know what the temperature is right now. I know it's in here. I'd say it's 68 in here. Comfortable. It's probably down around 60 or a little less outside. So it's not too terrible. I got shorts on and short sleeve shirt. For the last 3 or 4 days I've been wearing long pants, and I thought I had some long sleeve shirts. Apparently I don't have any. I used to. I don't know what happened to them. I think the wife threw them out. Well, I may have to invest in some new ones. How's the igloo building going? Are you still stuck there? Almost done, he says. Okay. So, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. Train related, anyway. I'll tell you what, realistically, I got to get cracking on this because my layout looks like a hurricane hit it. There's just stuff everywhere. That's why I really want to get that other room put up. And maybe come March, I should probably seriously think about getting it started. And getting it put together so I can, you know, Because a lot of this stuff is going to go into that secondary room, which is going to make things here a lot more cleaner and more organized. Floyd, stay indoors, too cold out. Yeah, absolutely. On our way, Mike, is to get the +1 next week. Damn, that's cold. And then again, you never know. I mean, and that's the problem. Every time I look at the weather report, the Weather Channel, it changes from day to day. So you think you know what's going on. I get rain this morning. There was no rain in the forecast, but we damn sure got rain. All right, Andy, have a good one, man. Sleep well. We'll see you next week. Thanks for hopping in. Boy says that's 33 Fahrenheit. Yeah, well, that's cold. Too damn cold to suit my ass. Okay, tuna dog, take care. So let's see. So yes, that's what I want to do. I want to get cranking on that building out there, even before I start the tip out for the helix. That can wait, really, But that building, 2222. There we go. Cool. Thanks for that, JD. Lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Like I said, the worst part of it's going to be making the floor. The building is cheap. It's like, I think it was $190 for the building for an 8x10, which not bad. It's a metal building. Who cares? It's a shed, basically. And but the floor, you got to have a floor, and of course it's elevated off the ground because this whole shed is elevated off the ground. Almost about a half a foot on that side. They have to level it out so it's up on blocks. So when I build the floor, part of it will be attached to the shed, the inner part, and then the frame going to have to sit on blocks, get it level. And so I'm just going to stand up 2x4s because it's not going to be a whole lot of weight. I'll put them a foot apart. So, you're not going to have thousands of pounds on it. You'd be lucky if you had 100 pounds on it. So I'm not really worried. I'll use, the weather stuff, the green. And it'll be a lot stronger that way. And because when I should really use 2x6s, I said, shit, 2x6s will break the bank. Because you don't want both your trains on the same track now. That would be a problem, hopefully. That's what I said. I wanted to set up the sugar line so it's on its own short line that's independent of the rest of the track, and it can go back and forth by use of a motorman. I already have one motorman that Tom Grassi picked up for me, and I'll get a second one later on. And plus it gives me something to do anyway. I've got the room for it, so why not, Initially, when I first started designing this, my plan was to have 4 or 5 mains. And actually, Crooked Dave talked me out of it. He says, well, no railroad has that many mains on it. All right, well, maybe 2 then, He says, yeah, 2 is good. And I'm thinking, all right. So I went with 2 mains. And I see, hey, DB Tech, how's it going, man? Good to see you, Dave. So, okay, no idea what you're talking about. So I settled on the two mains, and I have the sugar short line, which tied into one of the mains down in that corner. And I said I ran it a couple of times, and I couldn't run the main train, main freighter. Well, actually, I had freight on the inside main and passenger service on the outside main. And I thought, this is really not very bright. So I went ahead and I separated the short line from the main down at that end, and it just terminates. And I said at some point I would have had to tie it into something, or what I wound up doing is setting up a separate short line. So it's a main in and of itself, but not really. And of course I have the passenger line, which is on the elevated track. So basically, yeah, I still wound up with four mains of sorts. But it's better that I did it this way, because I was going to have four mains on the ground, on the ground of the benchwork, which I think might have been problematic all the ways around. Because one of the problems with that, of course, is you want to have room for some buildings, some industry. The only real residential area I have is where my house is, and my next door neighbor's house is next to it. That's the only real residential property there is on the layout. So that's why I said this worked out really good the way I wound up going out with it. Of course, going with a second level made a big difference too. Now technically there's a main on the second level that does go into a yard, and of course the locomotive facility and the turntable. So realistically I probably have 5 mains if you get down to it. So damn, you're doing a pretty good job expansion. Well, yeah, basically I am, But this is as far as I'm never going to do a third level. That's not going to happen. I don't really have room for it, to be honest with you. I mean, if I were 6 foot tall, I'd consider it, but I'm not. And I really don't need it, so I'm going to have a lot of industry up on the second level. And that'll make up for what I can't put on the bottom level. So that's the big plan anyway, and it seems to be panning out pretty good as far as I can tell. Like I said, I only have limited time to spend on it, so I'm not getting things done as quickly as I did initially. Because initially I was here for 8-10 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't do that anymore. The wife would kill me. And plus, there's other things that need to be done outside of the train shed. So, like tomorrow I got to make another store run to Winn-Dixie. I'm almost out of soda, and I think bread. So still trying to do that remote train deal, huh, John? Huh. No idea what you guys are working on. I attempted to do it on the computer, to go on Sparky's layout, but I couldn't get it to throttle up either, and I was on the computer. I'm sure it was my fault. I was clearly doing something wrong, because you mouse over to the throttle. I throttled up, made sure the brakes were off, and it was in forward, the reverser. Still nothing happened. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll probably try again at some point though. Just for, for fun. I think it'd be fun to remotely operate a, model train. So, I'm sure I'll try again at some point, or I'll have to get hold of Spark and find out what the hell I'm doing wrong. Well, it could have been your phone, John, but, not necessarily. He said I tried to do it on the PC, and I couldn't get it to throttle up or move either, so I think I was doing something wrong. Obviously, I don't know what. It's funny because, operator error, right? When you see stuff like that, there's no instructions with it. You'd think they would have a built-in tutorial to get you started, but if there is one, I couldn't find it. So that's kind of what I was looking for. All right, what the hell am I doing wrong? Is there a tutorial here that at least get me rolling, I'll figure out the rest on my own. But there wasn't even that, at least not one I could find. So, let's face it, I'm not a genius when it comes to all this tech shit anyway. No. I'm sure it was, my fault, clearly. Or maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I'll have to try it again. So I got it bookmarked, the website, so I'll have to try it again. Now, I don't use my phone for any of that shit because I hate the phone to begin with, No, not yet. Dave's been working on lots, so I'll get it to him for sure. And Bernard says, geez, I don't know, John. My Samsung may not hook up to the white throttle, but freaking drives me nuts always. Hooking up to something I wasn't ready for. Yeah, exactly. Derek says you have to double click the throttle so it moves. Well, I knew that. I got that part. But even when I advanced it, the train didn't move. So Darren at COL has a tutorial. I'll have to find that then. There, so they finally released a video with directions. So we're not the only idiots that can't figure it out. Nobody else can either. Like I said, I made sure the reverser was in forward. All the brakes were off. The throttle was up. I full throttled it at some point. It still didn't go nowhere. I mean, it didn't even raise the RPM, so it wasn't like, I wasn't in forward, but nothing was happening. And I said I'm moving the controls around back and forth, but the train wasn't moving. No. Like I said, I'm not a genius when it comes to that stuff, but I like to think I'm not an idiot either. But I couldn't figure it out. Are we going to admit we are going to have to read the instructions? Yeah, unfortunately, Bernard. It happens. I hate instructions. I don't generally use them unless I absolutely have to. And I think in this case, we actually have to. I don't know what else to say. I thought it was clicking. Yeah, well, that's what I thought at first, too. And then I backed down and slayed it, and he said there's a big delay, Jim. All right. Well, how much of a delay? I mean, like I had it throttled up for maybe a minute or two. Nothing happened. Maybe it wasn't quite that long, and I just imagined it. I don't know. Of course, that sucks that there's a delay, though. Wouldn't that be problematic? I mean, like, what if you had to slow down or brake real quick and you couldn't? Wouldn't that cause a train accident? On the top right of the screen, you can see what notch you're in. I didn't notice that. Probably wasn't paying attention anyway. Tom says you forgot to leave a tip. I bet that will get it going. Maybe. They did ask for a tip too, I believe. Of course, I wasn't going to give you a tip until I had some satisfaction. You get the tip after the product is used, not before. I don't know. Not that long, about 5 seconds tops. Well, no, I waited more than 5 seconds. And there might have been something wrong with, stuff on their end. I don't know. It's really hard to say, could have went either way. I'll try it again though at some point. Maybe tomorrow when I'm bored I'll jump on there and see if I can't run it. Now does that operate 24/7? Or does he have to be there to like oversee it and make sure everything's in the on position? That could have been it too. It was about this time it was a little later. I think it was around 10:30 when I tried to play with it. Maybe he wasn't in the shed and it was shut down for the day. I don't know. Like I said, there's really, they didn't say anything about, operating hours, but maybe there are. Comcast was screwing it again. Oh, well, that could have been. You never know. I mean, so far, Comcast has been, knock wood, doing pretty good so far. But I'm telling you, the minute it fucks up, I'm dropping them like a hot potato, man. The throttle is backwards, in my opinion. It has to come toward you, not forward. Well, if that's true, then it's no wonder it didn't go anywhere. Those Comcasters. Bastards, man. Bastards. LL Tom, I'm telling him it's not much, but hey, you don't have to pay taxes on it now, right? Your signal man must have something to do with it. You never know. What is the link for Sparky's train automation? I don't have it handy right now, but I'll email it to you when I find it. If somebody has the link, you want to put it up, that'd be cool. Could be Chuck stinking. I don't know. Well, no, if the controls are backwards then, but then again, when it was down in the neutral position, or the low position, like notch 1, shouldn't it have still been moving? I mean, I went like, I think it was like 5 or 6 notches, maybe 7. So even if it was backwards, it started out at notch 7, and I just brought it down to notch 1 and then 0. And I said, it doesn't make sense. Derek says, I think Sparky's layout is offline right now. That sounds probably more like it. That it wasn't active when I got on there. I mean, realistically, if it were my layout, I'd want to be there just in case, I mean, not that, you guys aren't trustworthy or anything, but, in case the train got away from you or something, he would be there to actually maybe intercept and prevent a catastrophe. And that's the way I look at it anyway. So, like I said, it might not have even been on when I tried to get on there. And he works during the day because, Sparky's not retired yet. So it may not be available for a good portion of the day. I don't know. I said I may have to email him and find out what the hell the deal is on it. Still a neat idea though. Well, Heath did that for a while too. But I think Heath's was only operational in the evenings. Probably for the same reasons. And of course, his was more of a switching layout than, go around in circles. I don't know. I suppose if you're going to do something like that, though, you should have, like right in the very beginning, you know, big tutorial that you absolutely have to read and understand. And once you acknowledge you've read and understood it, then you get to go to play with the trains. That's the way I would do it anyway. I could view the train, but it weren't moving. Yeah, well, same deal here. Like I said, I was just sitting there and I'm going, what the fuck? And I said, I'm sure I was doing something wrong, maybe, I don't know. I said, I have no patience for that shit anyway. You know, I'll fuck with something for 10 or 15 minutes, so I'm done. Go back to watching YouTube videos. I just don't have the perseverance to keep screwing with it. You know, I mean, I'm sure somebody that's really hardcore determined would spend a few hours or maybe even an evening to try to figure it out. I wasn't that way. So, yeah, I think when I get home after the show, I think I'm going to look for, I'm going to order another DF player, a good one. They're only a few dollars more for not a knockoff, you know. I'll order one of them, and I'm going to see if there's anything else out there that might even run a higher voltage, but small enough to be able to utilize. Because I was actually using this breadboard, which is not very big, but I had to put it at an angle in the car to get the pick up properly. I mean, if you took a 1/4 inch off of this, it would have been fine. But I don't have any small ones, and so I didn't really need it anyway. So I direct wired everything to the DF player, and like I said, it was working, and then it wasn't. Excuse me. Chuck says that signal man is always up to no good, Bernard. Yeah. Bernard says, I'm looking at this airplane. I should be working on it. I'm just checking out the paint my buddy picked up in Utah yesterday. 487, a flipping court. Holy shit, really? That money should be going to my new big blow. No track. 487 bucks for a quart? Fuck, what's so special about it? I mean, it ain't like it's gonna blow off in flight, I don't think. I just use regular engine paint and be done with it. Instructional video camera. Oh, there you go. There's a link for it. I'm gonna click on that. Can I do that? Not there, I can't. Not up here can I do it. Open link in new tab. There we go. Okay. I think you could peek at that real quick. Yeah, okay. It's a video. Cool. I'll look at that later after the show. Chrome illusion paint. Okay. Yeah, that's some pretty special stuff, man. Holy shit, though. 487 bucks a quart. Holy Christ. If I wanted to paint my car with that, I'd need 2 quarts of it. It's got a big car, you know. Bless you, Jim just purged all the sins out of his body. Thank you. That's flipping single stage 2. Paint is on flipping real, Jim. Jim looking at the quote for the Firebird $3,000 just for the paint reducer and hardener. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. Derek, that both funny cars are painted in that's cool when it's rocking in the sun. It gets the clock going and it just blinds you with the colors. I'll bet. Darren was been trying to get me to run it, not interested in doing the computer thing. There you go. I'll tell you, that's those are crazy prices for paint. I haven't painted a car in many, many, many years. And when I painted, I mean, remember Imran? That was the hot thing back at the day, you know, back like in the 80s. And that shit was like $100 a gallon. And we thought that was expensive, you know. And of course, the reducer was another like 40 or 50 for a gallon. And I don't remember what the hard I think was only $20 for a little bottle. But you know, you could paint a car. I mean, back in those days, you could get a premium paint job, like in a body shop, for around $1,200 to $1,500. I wanted to get my car repainted, my Grand Marquis, 5 years ago, and I should have done it anyway, but I had the money. They wanted $8,000. I go, why the hell does it cost so much? Well, you know, we disassemble the whole car. I don't want you disassembling my car. Mask it off and paint the fucker. Well, we don't do it that way. Well, that's fucking stupid. You know. It's an old car. You start pulling shit apart. It may not go back right. You're going to have, you know, noises and squeaks and clangs. No, we're not even doing that, you know. I says, look, you take the headlights and the taillights out. You throw blankets over the tires. You know, you cover the windows and any chrome that's on there, and you spray the primer, you wet sand it, block sand it if you want, and then spray the, you know, base coat, clear coat on. How fucking hard is that? You should be able to do it for, you know, no more than $3,000. And we don't do it that way. Well, fuck you then, you ain't doing it all. This is the purple green. Is it the purple green? Yeah, it could be. Are you talking about running like Arduino and JMRI? Thought this was a train channel. Oh, it is. I had Imran on my 66 Nova Pro stock in Cadillac Bronx. This is great paint, man. Like I said, it wasn't really that expensive, you know. They came up with a base coat, clear coat after that. I had a friend paint my Fiero in that. It was a medium blue metallic. And that thing, you could count your beard hairs in the paint. You know, you just look at it, it was like a mirror. It was beautiful. But he spent about a week on it, you know. And even then, it didn't cost shit for the paint. I think it only took a little over a quart of paint and quart of reducer and then, you know, whatever hardener, because there was a lot of plastic or rubberized panels in there. Yes, Derek, have you seen it on the internet? Seen it on cars? Yeah, it is. I got one on my trucks and Amron, Derek. And of course, that was the best paint for aircraft. Yeah, I'll bet. I said it was good paint, you know, the wet look. I remember when it first came out, and they said, you know, they said, you know, it was great stuff. But I painted a couple of cars in my life. You know, I was good at it. I don't think I could do it now because I'd have to have an oxygen-fed, you know, filtration system on because I can't take the smell of it. But as far as the technique, yeah, I'm good at the technique. You know, no runs, no sags. And really, it wasn't for the fact that I don't have the equipment to protect myself. I'd paint the fucking car in the garage, you know. Put up plastic all over the place and, yeah, wet the floor and, you know, keep the dust down and spray that bastard right in the garage. I mean, I could get, what was it that? Ah, shit. It's not an Earl Shaw's, it's like that. I can't remember the name of the place. They're all over the place. They said they would do it for about $3,200. You know, supposedly base coat, clear coat, but then again, they wanted to paint the car the same color. I'm going, no, I want to change the color to gunmetal gray. I don't like that fucking ugly ass green, which is not really green. They call it something gold, but it's not gold. Like there's one around the corner, same car as mine, same year and all, but he had it repainted. It's gunmetal gray. I mean, it's fucking beautiful. He said, I want that on my car. Yeah. So I don't know how much they charge extra for changing the paint. All right, John, have a good one, man. Thanks for popping in. Have a good weekend. Be safe and stay warm. We'll see you next week. Just mask up and use NOS instead of O2. The only happy painting. Yeah, right before I die. I was doing it for a friend. He had a pickup truck. And they had this coating you put in the bed. And it said wear a mask, all that good thing. I mean, I did it outside, but I didn't wear a mask. That shit fucked me up for about a week. I was sick as a dog. And ever since then, I can't be around car paints. So whatever it did, it was, permanent. Flip towel made by GE Cars. Guys wanted to paint inside engine block. Why would you paint inside an engine block? Oh. Add $200 to $300 if you want metal flake paint. Well, I don't want metal flakes, just a metallic, I knew a guy who did actual metal flake jobs. And this is back in the 70s. He body man all his life. I mean, he was good, but it killed him, mostly inhaling all the Bondo, and he was doing lead repairs. He was going to teach me how to do lead. I'm kind of glad he didn't now because it kills you, But he didn't use Bondo too much. He leaded everything. And damn, the guy was good. But he did a, what the hell was that? It was an old Toronado. Like a 69 or a 70, I don't remember the year. But he painted it gold metal flake. It looked good, but, I just don't particularly like metal flake. You remember the old dune buggies? Those were all metal flake jobs. And they looked alright on those, but on a regular car, not so much. BB says it's over $600 for a gallon for my Suburban. I know, that's ridiculous. Right now they got the water-based paints. I don't know if we're using them over here. I know what on the other coast they use. California and that. Because I think they outlawed anything with chemicals in it. So they got a water-based paint that's supposed to work pretty good. I don't know much about it. I'm sure it costs a fortune. Because, anything that's better for you or better for the environment costs way more than the dangerous shit. Never did understand that. But, I mean, I would probably try the water base because it shouldn't hurt you. I mean, I wear a respirator, but that's it. The water base shouldn't probably be lethal to paint with it. I wouldn't think. First car I ever painted was an Impala. It was a 68 Impala 4-door. And I was working at the junkyard at the time, and my boss, he painted cars on the side. And I was over there one day, and he called me over. He said, "You ever paint a car before?" "No, sir." "You want to learn?" "Sure, why not, So he handed me the fucking paint gun. We had no respirators. It was outside, Wasn't much wind blowing, thank God, but... And we used Imron on that. That's the first time I heard about the Imron. And I shot the car. He corrected some of my technique because he said, you got to be more fluid with it. I said, all right, no problem. So I learned how to, spray paint a car at that point, and I'll tell you what, that fucker came out nice, Well, and we didn't, like I said, didn't have a paint booth or anything, man. Just outside, you know. And there was no flaws in the paint at all. I was kind of amazed, really. Like I said, the big problem now is I just don't have that kind of money. I mean, I could put together $1,000 easy, you know, more or less. Maybe even 1,500 because I do that for my taxes every year, you know, property taxes. But come up with 3,000. That's a little tougher, you know. But nobody will do a paint job any cheaper than 3,000. It sucks. I had the car painted back in Naples before we came up here, and I paid that guy. I think I paid him $2,600. I don't know what the fuck he used. The paint turned to shit literally in a couple of months. Looked good. Dad brought it home. Although I'm pretty sure they stole my headlights. I had crystal clear headlights, and when I got the car back, they were yellow as shit. There ain't no way they were my headlights. I think they took my good ones. And he ruined a lot of the rubber weather stripping around the doors and shit. So, and then they botched the roof because I had rot on the roof, and they filled it. I took it to another body shop 8 months later and had a new roof put on the car, which cost me $1,200, which wasn't bad for a brand new roof panel. But the guy says, yeah, he said, they took your old roof. I said, they must have had 5 pounds of fucking Bondo in it. Like, are you kidding me? He said, no. It was bad, man. They should have never done that. They should have replaced it. It probably would have been cheaper. I said, yeah, probably, but these guys were hacks. You know, it was recommended to me, and they weren't that good. I haven't seen that guy, so I think he left town. Probably a smart move on his part. I want to buy new headlights, and because these things, they were toast, man. I mean, when I brought the car in there, they were crystal clear. I don't know what the fuck he did to them. I think he swapped them out. You know, it is what it is. So that's where we're at. And everything I own needs a paint job. I mean, my wife's Mustang, it's a year newer than mine. Yeah, it's an '05. Same problem. Her paint's flaking off too. She can't afford to get it repainted anymore, and I can do mine. And the Ford Ranger, well, the paint's not flaking off, but yeah, it's white, and it just doesn't look that good anymore. Anyway. So, it's after 8 o'clock. I think we're going to wrap it up. I pretty much talked about all the train shit that I can. I can't think of anything that I might have missed. When I do this new drop down with these pins, I'll videotape the whole thing so that it'd be like a little training or how-to video. I said Scott Rails already did it, and he did a video, but figure why not, I'll do one too. You know, even though I'll basically be copying what he did. So we'll see if mine turns out as good as his did. I hope so. Okay, wrap it up. Yes, sir. Well, around the paint, I used to really like pearls. Depending on what you ran for base and seed. The undercoats, you can make some pearls a little flake. Depending, just amazing. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go ahead and put the outro up. Thanks again for hopping in, guys. We'll see you next week. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to talk about next week as well. I don't want you to get too spoiled, though, because, you know, yes, we are a train channel, but we also talk about other things. But I'll try and stay on the train subject as much as I can. Just because. Alright, guys. We'll see you later. We'll see you next week. Be safe, have a good weekend, and, you know, stay warm.